Well, good morning, everybody. We are in my high tunnel that I am going to finish or get as close to done as I can today. And I thought this was a great place for us to have this discussion. I have noticed a couple videos, and I will reference those down below from different channels. I have not personally read the article, but I will also find it and link it down below. But I'm just going off of the information that I have received from other channels. So let me back up a little bit and tell you what we're discussing today. There is an article that came out. It was a study done by the University of Michigan stating that the average backyard garden, I do believe they use the term urban garden, which could be slightly different. However, the average homeowner in their garden emits like 6 times more carbon than the big traditional agricultural scale vegetable farmers. Common sense here dictates that that's probably not true. Supposedly in the article, they blame a lot of raised bed growing for this emission of carbon, and it's more the methods that are used. Now, I understand that there are some products on the market that are akin to something that you could get as an industrial farmer. We're talking about like Roundups and sprays, seven dust and stuff like that, pesticides and herbicides that you can use at your home garden. But I don't see any type of product that is going to cause this problem. Certainly it's not the plants that you're growing that are causing the problem. And I certainly don't see how a raised bed can emit a ton of carbon. I'm not a scientist or a doctor. And the people that wrote this article and did this study have a PhD in front of their name or after their name, or however you put it. But I don't think that really matters, because throughout history, people that had those abbreviations have come out with a lot of things that maybe they were financially persuaded to come up with. I'm not 100% sure how this study plays out, but it stinks. In a time right now where you have somebody trying to come out with bug proteins, when you're trying to have somebody genetically imitate cow's milk, when you're trying to get people to drink and eat all of these chemical items and forego what our bodies have done for millennia, a study like this seems all too convenient. I don't trust anything anybody tells me if it doesn't make sense first, and then I have to look into it deeper. This particular study I have literally no desire to read, because I think that my blood pressure would probably just spike through the roof. I feel that it will do nothing more than aggravate me very much, and as I grow older and I go down this journey, I try to stay away from things that really upset me on this deep level. they spike the revolution in my blood. I'm trying to remain very peaceful, and like I said, I try to not bring up anything that is very political on this channel, because that's not this place. So I'm not going to go too deep into details on this study, because like I said, I haven't read it. I do not intend to read it either. I've watched plenty of videos on it from people that are reputable that read it and can tell you exactly what it says. I'm going to link everything down below so that you can use your own mind and come up with whatever you believe in. However, I'm going to say this, and this is the point of this video. We haven't been consuming food that we haven't grown for more than 100 years, 120 years for the most part. This going to the grocery store and buying things is a new revelation. And when you think about it, you're like, I can't remember a time where I didn't go to the store and buy something. And that may be true, but it's not that far removed that our families grew their own food. I understand wholeheartedly that there are people that cannot grow their own food. And I get that. And that's a conversation for another time, because we could get creative, we could get crafty, we could make partnerships. But we're not going to touch on that right now. What I'm getting at is, and Jess from Roots and Refuge touched on this, actually went more in depth on this, but going to the grocery store and buying food that somebody else has grown, just think about this for a second. They talk about the carbon emitted by the backyard gardener, where you're literally waking up in the morning, grabbing your coffee, going outside and working in your garden. That's more carbon by 6 times than the person who is using big industrial equipment, which takes fuel, and lots of it. We're talking about them using fertilizers and pesticides on a large scale. We're talking about using a genetically modified organism that is what they're planting and what they're harvesting, and therefore those things are treated and created in a lab. Once the things come to fruition, they have to harvest it and they have to put it on a truck that uses fuel, and then they truck it to the grocery store, which is using electricity, and your backyard garden emits 6 times more carbon. I mean, anybody with a brain can see that they're trying to trigger people on purpose. So, the whole purpose and point of my channel is to show people what can be done as one person, and at that, as one woman, okay? I don't do things perfect. I don't do things to code, to standards, to any of that. I do things to get it done for the best of my family. I do things because no matter what happens to that grocery store, no matter what happens in this crazy world, my family's going to eat. There's different ways to skin a cat, and there's different ways to get to that level of sustainability, whether that means you live in an apartment building and you have to go buy 5 cans of vegetables more than what you need each week so that you can put them on a shelf somewhere. If that means you go to the local farmer and you purchase a whole hog and half a cow once a year so that you have that food on hand. Whether that means you go down to the local farmer's market and you purchase your vegetables where you're going to go can them. Even if you don't want to do that and you want to save money, there's places. We have a discount store not far from here, and they have truckloads of vegetables that are coming in right now, fruits and vegetables, and you can go down there and you can go get those things at a steal of a price. Buy them in bulk, bring them home, prepare them, can them, put them on your shelf. You're good. We have such a skewed reality of everything right now, a skewed vision of reality, I think is what I meant right now, where it's normal to go to the grocery store, and if somebody's doing something like I am, which is mimicking and imitating ways of the past, that's not normal. And I want to know where we've gone off the wagon here, where we're going to believe a study done saying that my garden's emitting 6 times the carbon that the industrial farmer is. Now, again, I don't have anything against industrial ag. I don't agree with it for my own personal reasons, but I know that there is a reason for it. I know that there's a lot of people on this rock and they need fed, and that not everybody can grow a backyard garden. I understand that. I get that. And if I had a solution, I would present it. I think it takes an awful lot of people working together, small farms where they can provide food for their communities, and eventually maybe you could get some of that taken back. But that would take an awful lot of commitment from an awful lot of people. And I don't think we're there yet. But I think people need to start using discernment when they read these types of articles, because there's a large amount of people that are going to believe that. And there's a large amount of people that are going to start showing up at farmers markets and start yelling at people like me saying, you're emitting too much carbon, because they believe this asinine study that's done. You know, a lot of people are going back to and starting to learn about regenerative agriculture, which means you're composting your soils, you're making the worm farms, you're, you know, getting manure from the local farm if you don't have some of your own that you can mix in with your soil. You're making your nutrient rich land prosperous for growing vegetables, okay? You are really using holistic ideologies and interplanting and stuff like that. People are starting to wake up. People are starting to realize that the systems that are in place aren't necessarily, they're there to keep you alive by any means necessary, right? And people are starting to wake up and they're starting to realize that. And I think for the most part, if we just tend to our garden and our pieces of land and earth that we own, if we treat them with dignity and respect, and we understand that this is a living organism, the soil is alive, and it should be. I don't care or give a damn what anybody's study says. We're doing the right thing. We are not depleting the soil of nutrition by spraying it with every stupid thing. I just would love to talk to the people that wrote this study. I know this video is probably a bit of a ramble, but it's basically me just talking about my frustrations and things that have gone astray throughout the years. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think ultimately, and at the end of the day, I think that they don't want people to have any type of self-sustenance. They want people completely and 100% dependent on the system. Sorry about the wind, guys. They want everybody to be completely... Let me get this hair out of here. Get back there, hair. There we go. They want everybody to be completely dependent on the system, because then they can control what you eat, how you eat it, what it has in it. So therefore you can go to the doctor and get treated for all that nasty stuff they've been feeding you, okay? It's full circle. The full circle that I want to partake in is the full circle where I bought the seed, I amended the soil with things that I took care of here, I composted, I got, you know, my worm castings, I did all the things, and I got this soil ready for the seed that I purchased. And then when that fruit grows, I'm going to save those seeds till next year. And that's the full circle I want to do. My full circle is I have my pigs, they have babies, I feed them out, I take them to the butcher, that meat comes back to me. That's the full circle I'm talking about, not the merry-go-round they have us on currently. And people need to start figuring out how they can get out of that spiral, because that's a downward spiral before you know it. I mean, I saw 3D printed meat, and they're going to be selling that? Gross. Because I want to be eating plastic, thank you. Anyways, this is a rant of a video, but it is an important topic. It's something that people need to pay attention to, and just use your common sense. Use your discernment. Understand everything that smells funny probably is. Everything that you're told is most likely not accurate, or it's such a... I remembered what I was trying to say. It is a perversion of the point that they are trying to make. So if they say that this thing is purple when it's clearly pink, then, you know, what they're saying is the amount of blue that's in there is so minuscule that it looks pink, but it's actually purple. That's what I'm getting at. It's like a complete perversion of reality. And I think that that's probably a lot of what this study is. I think it's a real perversion of reality, and it's made and cherry-picked to fit their narrative. That's what I was getting at. That's the whole point of this. I'm glad I finally got it out. Finally found the words for it. You know, there's a lot that goes on in this brain up here, and sometimes it doesn't come out clearly. So I hope this is all making sense. And like I said, I'm going to try to link everything down below, things that I've watched, people that I've watched, and the article itself, so that you can go and do your own research and see what you think. But yeah, there's a lot going on right now. And, I found out yesterday that they're coming out with the very first genetically modified seed that you can purchase for your own home garden. Do with that what you will. I think it's a horrible idea. I think it's a terrible idea. I think that the fruit that they showed is absolutely stunning and very beautiful, but I don't want any parts of it. It's probably a harmless seed. It probably wouldn't hurt you, but I don't want to participate in that. I don't want that to be a ball that gets rolling and everybody to think that that's perfectly normal. Hybrids are great. GMOs, not so much. So I hope this video ultimately doesn't come across too boring or too bland, and I hope my bullet points are tangible, because like I said, sometimes I just go off on a roll and who knows what comes out of this mouth. But it's things that frustrate me. It's things I think about a lot. Out here getting ready to start some seeds hopefully soon, and this study comes out and it's just like a real punch in the gut. Like, what will they say next? They have a real vendetta against small farmers in general, but small farms. They try to make it absolutely impossible for people to succeed, and if they do succeed, they like to make people super angry at them so that they get a lot of slack. I don't participate. If the government tells me to not garden, I'm going to garden harder. So I hope you guys are all doing well, and if I listen to this back and it doesn't make sense, I'm going to come back and do it again, because I really probably should have gathered my thoughts on a notepad before I sat down and started rambling off. But here we are. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.